afternoon, everyone. This is Deborah Williams, and I would like to welcome you to the Managing Your Business, Building a Solid Foundation webinar. This workshop itself is really meant to address some of the things that, at least I believe, we don't normally talk about when we start a business in the first place, and then especially when we've been in business for quite a while. So here's what I consider to be a roadmap for a business. And you see them 1 through 7 there. The readiness assessment is a lot of what we'll be talking about in this particular webinar. But that's, are you ready as a potential business owner or as a business owner? Why are you starting this business? All kinds of things. The thing that you really want to do is define what your business really is and then build a strong foundation. So we'll be talking about making sure that you're building a strong foundation in this workshop. The other areas that you see there, structuring your business, developing your business, managing your business, and growing your business, those 4 areas are not specifically a part of this webinar, but they are part of a business roadmap. All right, so thinking about that assessment section that I mentioned, then the first thing I really want to talk about is the reasons that people start a business. Now, many of you I know have been in business for quite a while, maybe 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 years. And so, you may be thinking, well, why do I even care about, reasons why people start a business? But here's what I know. When we've been in business for a while, it's even more important to think about why you first started this business. And are the reasons that you started it initially the same reasons that you have right now for continuing it? So if you've been in business for a while, even if it's less than 5 years, I'm going to ask you to stop, kind of freeze frame and do an assessment of, am I on track? What are my reasons? Why did I start it? Why am I continuing it? So you see the reasons that people, from the standpoint of the Small Business Administration, why people say they have started their business. So let me just kind of walk through those with you. A lot of people have an entrepreneurial spirit. And I'm going to ask you to, as I'm going through these, think about your reasons. Do you fit into one of these categories? Or is there some other reason that you started your business? So entrepreneurial spirit, I think of those are the people who, they maybe had the ice cream stand or the lemonade stand, or they cut grass, for all the neighbors and made some money, or, in some cases they went around and they shoveled snow for people and made money, even as kids. They were always coming up with some creative idea as to how they were going to make money. The next one, you want to be your own boss. That's a big reason for a lot of people. Oftentimes, we try working a job or for someone else, and it just really doesn't fit with how we see our lives, because we really would prefer to be our own boss and be the head of the company. People have told me, I like the freedom of having my business. Now, I can punch my own clock, so to speak, and I'm, depending on what kind of business you have, a lot of times, sometimes that is true, and then other times that's not true. But the freedom, they believe that there's a lot more freedom for them working for themselves and having their own business. Income. There are many people who simply started their business to get some extra income, and then found out that maybe it was more lucrative for them to just have that business than to have the job that they were previously in, and so therefore they quit the job and then continue with the business. You get to do what you're interested in. That is a big factor for people. I don't know about you, but I know lots of people who went to school, got a good education, and they got a job based on maybe what their parents did, or people around them that they knew, people that they admired, or whoever the recruiter was that came to the class in school, or something like that. And 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years later, they are asking themselves, now, why did I do this? Why did I spend all of this time in a field, a career, a job that I really was never even interested in, something they just kind of fell into? Where now I really talk to people about, hey, do what you're really interested in doing, because in the hard times when you're working long hours, or it's not going the way you thought it would, at least you love what you do, and that makes it easier for you to address some of those issues that, if you have a job and you hate your job, and maybe you're not making the kind of money that you want to make, that it makes it more difficult. It makes it more of drudgery. So the next one, it's your company, but that equals it's your deadlines. And some people are perfectly fine with that. They like meeting their own deadlines and setting their own terms for what they are doing. I don't know about you, but there have been times when I have worked for a company, and maybe I was working on a project, and we had deadlines, but I finished my part, and then the rest of the project to be completed on time and on budget was depending on someone else, and they didn't meet their commitments. And so it ends up everybody gets in trouble. But in this case, when it's your business, it's it can be there can be pros and cons to this one. It is your company. You do get to run the company, but at the same time, it is your deadline. So think about that, if that was a reason that you started. Many people say, hey, I get to be creative. You can have your own ideas and implement your own ideas, where when you're working for someone else, oftentimes you may have some really creative ideas, and they may say they like them, but they never implement them. Your own business can be very profitable. Now, we know that's not always the case, but a lot of that is not always totally within your control as a business owner, because there's certainly external factors that can impact how profitable your business is going to be. But at least you have the opportunity to make it as profitable as possible, where in a job you are really just, you're working for a wage, even if you're in management or in a career, and it's only going to be so much. There's going to be a top. So one of the reasons that people do start a business is because they believe that it can be very profitable for them. A lot of us have started a business as a second career, maybe even as a third career, especially if maybe you were in the military at some point and then retired from the military, but were still very young and went to work in a career and then retired from there, or left there after a number of years and now decided to start your own business. That happens a lot, and I think especially with us baby boomers, and I'll admit I am a baby boomer here, so you know, those second careers are pretty pretty good way to go. You know, a lot of people just want to cut the commute. All of us here in California, we certainly understand the heavy traffic that we have, and being on the freeways and how long it takes to get someplace. And I think especially this morning, I'm out in the Inland Empire, Riverside County, and just trying to get to Rancho Cucamonga this morning for a meeting. With all of the rain and the traffic, it will make you want to cut your commute. And I'm sure that you all understand that. And then oftentimes people want to make a difference. They want to do something as far as a career or their business that is going to make a difference in their community, or at the national level, or, you know, even globally. So these are a list of reasons that people have said they started their business. I'm going to ask you to think about why did you start your business? And if you've been in business for a while, consider today as a new start, and then ask yourself, why am I going to continue my business? Since the economic change of 2008, 2009, it's really, even now, 2016, 2017, it's a really good time to pause and take stock as to why am I doing what I'm doing. Now, if I think about maybe somebody who said, you know, I want to be able to stay closer to home, be with my family more, you know, spend more time with my kids, or whatever it is, and you did that 10, 15 years ago, and now the kids are grown and gone, are out of the house. If that was your reason for starting your business, is that still your reason? Or do you now have a different reason? Now, just as we talked about reasons why people start their business, we need to talk about why small businesses especially fail, okay? And so you see all the examples there. I know some of you are just on the phone, so I'm going to go over them so that you know what they all are. It's from the Small Business Administration. And the first thing they say is that over 50% of small businesses fail in the first year of business. And then 95% of the businesses fail within the first 5 years. So if you have made it, if your business has made it past the first 5 years, I applaud you. You have definitely beat the odds as it relates to the Small Business Administration statistics. So here's some reasons why businesses fail. Lack of experience, meaning the owner or the people who are running the business don't have the actual experience to run the business. And it may be that they don't have the managerial experience. They know the technical aspects of running their business, but they don't have the managerial experience. Or it could be that they don't have the technical experience either. Now, I'm going to give you a really simple example, you know, just really short, just simple. I once went to a hair salon, and there was one person who worked in there, and she rented a booth. She was a hairstylist, and she rented a booth in this particular business. She was always busy. She always had clients backed up. You know, they were always sitting there waiting for her to come so that they could get their hair cut or whatever they were going to do. She decided to open her own business. When she opened her business, she actually was out of business within 1 year. All of the bad behaviors that she had when she was renting the booth as a hairstylist for another within another business, she continued. She continued to come in late. She continued to have her clients sitting and waiting for her to show up. She did not have any understanding of how to actually operate the business itself, the business side of it. She was a fantastic hairstylist, but she didn't really know how to run the business, and she went out of business. So that's what I mean when I say lack of experience. You may be a great backhoe, operator, but deciding that you're going to start a company to offer that type of a service, you may not know how to operate the business itself. So that's one reason. Another one is insufficient capital, money, not having enough money in order to operate your business. If you think about it, especially as I'm looking at the potential people who are on this call and the types of businesses that you have, let's say that you decide you're going to have contracts with state of California departments such as Caltrans or federal government contracts. Well, you have to be able to do the work and put the money out to get the work done and wait the period of time that it's going to take for them to pay you. And sometimes that could be 60 days on a good day. That could be 90 days, or it could even be longer. So having insufficient capital, not only to start the business itself, but to operate the business, can cause you to go out of business, to have to close your doors. A poor location. I mean, we've all heard it, 1,000 times, location, location, location. Where is your business located? Is it convenient for your customers or your clients if they are coming to you? If you have to go, if you have to jump on an airplane, fairly regularly, how close are you to a major airport? Is that convenient for you? The commute time that it takes. Where is your business? And your home, it could be in a multi-million-dollar building. It could be, on construction property. It doesn't matter where, but you've got to think about when you are writing your business plan, when you're updating your business plan, you've got to think about where is my business located and how is it benefiting my company? Or is it actually a detriment? Are you in a location and you're leasing a building or leasing office space or property and it's costing you because of the amount of the lease, the overhead, okay? So a poor location. Poor inventory management. Those of you who have products or have to keep products on hand or certain kinds of supplies in order to operate your business, do you have an overabundance of it, or do you not have enough of inventory, which causes you to have delays in your business? Overinvestment in fixed assets. This is one that I think is really pretty interesting, and I think especially either when you're starting a business or you think you're about to get a really big contract and then you overinvest in whatever it is you think that you're going to need for that next big contract, and maybe the contract doesn't come through. or in the service industry, let me just give you again just a quick example that I think we all can understand. If you decide to be a real estate agent and you're brand new with your license and you decide you're going to jump out and get the Mercedes-Benz because you want to take your clients around to see houses, or you get the big office and with the mahogany and the cherry wood furniture, have you overinvested in fixed assets that you really don't need to operate your business? And it's more of how you think you need to look, when dealing with your clients or something like that. Poor credit arrangements, that can be a killer. The poor credit arrangements. What kind of arrangements do you have with your banks? Do you have lines of credit? And what's the terms on those lines of credit? Your bonding, your insurances, just all of the things that you need to operate your business. What are the various arrangements that you have? Especially at the height of the recession that we recently had, 2008, 2009, even 2010, I worked with a number of companies that they thought they would be perfectly fine because they had lines of credit, they could weather the storm, around the economy, only to have all of the terms changed by their banks. So again, sometimes the things that cause you to have some problems and manage your business effectively are beyond your control. It could be regulations that change drastically and impact you. So think about those poor credit arrangements, and I would say, especially if you've had credit arrangements for quite a while, go back and revisit them. Go back and see, is this still meeting my needs? Am I paying, more money on this than I need to, or something like that? Personal use of business funds. No, we should not, as business owners, should not commingle our funds with our personal funds, and yet people do. And it really can cause a problem and be a reason why, especially small businesses, fail. Unexpected growth. Now, you might think, boy, how could that be a problem? That's exactly what I'm looking for, unexpected growth. But if you can't meet the needs of that growth, then you get out of business. Probably one of the examples that we all could relate to is, let's say you had an internet business, or you started marketing on the internet, whatever your products were, and all of a sudden you got all of these orders that came in and you can't fulfill them. Then people start getting upset because they're not getting their products in a timely manner. They start canceling their orders. You now have all this inventory. I mean, it can really be a very big mess. Competition. I heard the gentleman who spoke up that one of the reasons they now are looking at their business and possibly even being in this program is, what's the competition doing and how is it impacting us? Now, should you solely pay attention to your competition? No, but you do need to be aware of what your competitors are doing, because if they I was working with a business that was a furniture business, and they had pretty high overhead for their facilities. Well, the competitors that they started seeing were, small, agile, kind of almost out of the garage furniture companies that were producing the same kind of quality that they had, but they could cut their costs because they didn't have all the overhead, where this other company could not. And so their competitors were greatly impacting their ability to stay in business. And then low sales. And the truth is, if you don't have sales, then you don't really have a business. Okay? So that's my explanation of the variety of reasons that the Small Business Administration says that people that people can fail in business. So it seems like you might think, well, she's doing a lot of doom and gloom here on this webinar. But there really is an upside to everything that I just talked about. Yes, people do fail in business. We know that. The statistics show that. We probably all know someone who has failed in their business. But the upside is that you really are your own boss, and that your hard work and your long hours do directly benefit you rather than increasing the profits of someone else, and that your ability, your earnings, and your growth potential can be greater if you have your own business, and that a new venture can be really exciting. It could be risky at the same time. Even if you don't have a new business, the fact that you are on this call, in this webinar, and that you are looking possibly at your business with new eyes in a new way, and hopefully thinking about how you're going to expand and grow your business, that can be very, very exciting. And then running a business itself can provide endless challenges, but it can provide endless opportunities for learning as well, learning and growth. So that's the upside to this whole idea, and because I don't want to leave you on a negative that, oh my gosh, maybe I should rethink whether or not I should keep my business or try to grow my business. Maybe I'm perfectly fine being stable where I am. I would say no. I don't think there's been any time that's any better than now. And I'm not saying that for any particular reason, except that you are business owners. And I tend to think that, as business owners, there's a whole lot more that you all can do to not only grow your business, but to make a difference in your communities. So what I want to do now is shift gears and talk about assessing your readiness to be a business owner. And again, that may sound like I'm talking to the person who's just starting their business. Yes, I am, but I am also talking to all of you who've been in business for a very long time, because once again, just because you have done all these things when you started doesn't mean that you can't do it now. That you may find that when you do these assessments that you say, yeah, I'm perfectly good, I'm right where I want to be, I'm fine. But there's some of you who may say, you know what, I hadn't thought about that in quite a while, and I need to maybe do some additional work here. Yes, I used to do that, but you know what, maybe I don't know if I'm still really as up on my game as a business owner as I used to be, all right? So right now, I'm just going to kind of walk you through some of these thoughts, and I want you to think about it and see what your answer would be for yourself as a business owner. Consider these questions. Are you actually a self-starter? Now, everything that I'm going to describe to you these are considered characteristics of an effective business leader or an effective business owner. So the very first one is, are you a self-starter? Second question to ask yourself, how well do you get along with different personalities? You're going to have different customers and clients and various stakeholders that have different personalities from yours. Is there one particular type of a personality that causes you more problems than others? And then you have to ask yourself why. The third question that I want you to consider is how good are you at making decisions? Now, you make decisions every day because you're a business owner, but really, how good are you at making decisions? What process do you go through to make your decisions? Do you get input from others who may have valuable information? The fourth question I'm asking is, do you have the physical and emotional stamina to continue to run your business? Do you have the physical and emotional stamina to do what you are doing or thinking about doing? And how well do you plan and organize? Because you are the leader, it is the business owner's responsibility to head up the effort of writing the business plan. Whether you delegate the actual writing to a staff person, or you get coaching or support from an outside consultant, or anything like that, but it is the business owner's responsibility to head up the project or the process of writing the business plan, even if you don't do the actual writing yourself. The sixth question is your drive strong enough? And that goes back to, is your reason for starting your business or continuing your business, is it strong enough? Do you have a big enough why? That's really what that means, a big enough reason for having this business. Do you have the self-confidence is question number 7. I'm not saying arrogant or cocky or any of that, but do you have the self-confidence? Are you comfortable in your own skin, to operate this business, to deal with all the people that you need to deal with, to ask for people to pay you when you've done the work, or put systems in place to make sure that you get paid and follow up on your contracts. One of the workshops that we offer is on negotiation. Do you and writing and developing your contracts and writing good proposals. Do you have the self-confidence to do all of those things? Because if you don't, it could lead to low sales. And low sales, we know, is one of those reasons that people have businesses that fail. Number 8, and we're going to go into this one more in just a minute. How will this business, or how does your business affect your family? So I'm going to leave that one there because we're going to talk about that much more. Number 9, do you have a need to achieve? In my case, I happen to be one of those people that, somebody tells me that I can't do it, it's almost like a, double dog dare you, for me. It's like, oh, okay, now I'm definitely going to do it. Now you just gave me a huge reason to do it, And I know that's a negative way of looking at it, but you have to ask yourself, what is it? What is it for you? What is your need to achieve? Is it to help your family, to change the economic status of your family for generations? Is it because nobody in your family has ever had a business before? Is it because somebody on your job told you that you can't do it? Or the banks have told you, we're not going to give you the money to do this? What is your need to achieve? That's what that means. Next to the last question, are you change able? Are you able to change? Because if you are change able, as the regulations change, as the economy changes, as the prices of what it takes to provide the goods and services that you're offering through your business, as those things change, then you're going to be able to roll with the punches. You're going to be able to overcome those kinds of things from an attitudinal standpoint. You also will need your business plan, because you've got to have that solid plan that you know where you're going, and when things change, you can look at your business plan and say, okay, how does this affect what I was planning on doing? Do I need to change? Is this a potential going to cause it to be a potential weakness, or a threat to my business, whatever this change is, or, man, is this an opportunity that I didn't see before? So you have to be change able, okay? How do you respond under stress? That's a big one. How do you respond? You know, what are those things that you do when you are under stress to take care of yourself? Everything has changed in recent years as it relates to business, and you know, it may be changing again. That's just the kind of the nature of the beast, right? So think about, can you handle all of the things that are happening related to your business? Are you business owner material? So I mentioned this one earlier as something for all of us to think about, and that is, how does your family feel about your business? You know, some of you may say, well, yeah, but wait a minute, we don't have a family business. You know, they're not involved. But they are involved, because even if they're not operating in the business or working in the business, they're involved because you have a business. And whatever time you are spending in the business is impacting them. The money that you're spending in the business, or not spending, could be impacting them. So have you even asked your family how they feel about your business? You might be surprised if you do ask them. You could maybe get some really positive responses to that. But start, think about how your family might feel about your businesses. I've actually had people who have gone through this particular activity around family and the impact on their family when they're thinking about starting a business, and they decide not to start a business, or they decide that, yeah, this is perfect timing, and you know what, as a matter of fact, I can get my family more involved in the business. Somebody mentioned legacy early on, and bringing maybe your children or grandchildren into the business and teaching them the business, man, that could be a great legacy. That could be a way of really spending more time with your family, but really also teaching them the business, the industry that you're in. We all have different values and belief systems, okay? And so, you have to decide for yourself what is important. That's number one. And that's why I say, I've had some people who have, once they have done kind of the soul searching, they have said, you know what, I'm not ready to start my business, or I'm going to shut this down because of my family. Not that the family was asking them to do that, but their belief system, their value system said that they wanted to be there. They didn't want to spend the long hours that it would take away from their family. So that's number one. Each one of you have to sit down in your heart of hearts and decide what is most important to you. Nobody else, including me, can make that judgment. That's the first thing. The second thing, recognizing that, yes, a business does take time, especially if you are starting it, or you're growing it, or just managing it. It takes time. So that's why sometimes I laugh when people say, I want the freedom, because I'm not so sure that it's the kind of freedom that they really think they're going to have. But here's some tips. I would say sit down with your family and give them a clear understanding of what it is going to take. And if you're looking at my slide, I have a question on there that says, are they supportive? Ask them, are you supportive? And if they say yes, ask them what support looks like. What does that mean? And you all have a solid conversation about what support looks like? That's probably the biggest question right there. And then when they tell you that and you put it in writing, when the hard times come and you're working the long hours, which sometimes will happen, then you revisit what everybody said support would look like and see if they're still in agreement with what you all decided. Now, you want to do this before you get into those difficult times, when everybody's fine and you haven't worked the long hours and, all of that. But even if it's now and you need to kind of do a checkup on this, sit down and have that honest conversation. And sometimes it's a matter of letting them know how you feel. It's not a matter of not loving them or not wanting to be with them, but saying why you're doing this. And as business owners, sometimes we need to stop. We need to take the break. We need to have balance, And I can't speak for any of you. I can only speak for myself and my own family situation. So you have to be the judge of what's going to work for you. The one thing that I know, and I'm sure you all have seen this too, where people say, but I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this for, for all of you to have more of money, more whatever it might be. And in the end, they don't have a family at all. The family's gone. And so, there is a check and balance on us as the business owner. Are we keeping the commitment of what support looks like? Are they keeping the commitment of what support looks like? Something else that I would like you to think about is whether or not your business meets all of your needs. And so does it really fit into your lifestyle? And these are the 6 areas that I think about. So, let me kind of give you a brief definition of each one of them. Spiritual, and I'm not talking about, going to church or religion or, it is whatever spirituality you have or don't have, does it meet your needs in that area? Mental and emotional. Does your business, whatever business you're running, is it engaging you mentally, emotionally, physical? Are you able to stay physically fit as much as you choose to, by being in the business that you are in? If we are, and the mental, well, more the emotional and can affect the physical, if we're totally stressed out and not taking care of ourselves, if we're not eating right, if we're not actually getting enough sleep or, physical activity, or, I don't know, doing whatever it might be in excess, how is it impacting our physical being? And whatever's going on with our physical being is really going to go right back to that one question on the assessment, which is, do you have the stamina to operate your business? Because if you're not healthy and you're having physical problems or emotionally not being satisfied by your business, then it's going to impact how you operate your business as the business owner. Social, when I'm thinking social, that's where I would put your family. Family and friends is under social. Okay? What's the relationships that you have, even with your friends, or what I consider your extended family. We think of whoever the people are living in our house as kind of our nuclear family. but that nucleus that we have, but our extended family and our friends. You know, do we no longer see them because we are operating our business, and you know, but how important are they to you? I can tell you in my case, because my friends are important, or so important to me, and I have grandchildren, and so my grandchildren are very important to me. And so for my friends, I make sure that I have it on my calendar to touch base with them. You know, it's like an appointment. And, you know, so when I'm driving especially, it's like, okay, who do I need to check in with? You know, and that might be the time, because we do have the windshield time here in Southern California especially. Then, you know, who can I check in with and talk to, or, you know, just see how they're doing, or good. I think, you know, pros and cons to Facebook and some of the social media. But one of the things that I realized that my grandkids, millennial grandkids, they think that they have talked to me if we text. And it, you know, first I thought, well, wait a minute, no, call me. And then I realized, oh no, this is pretty good. It takes less time. They're satisfied. And you know, so we have this conversation through text, and I can do it whenever I want to, and they can do it whenever they want to. Things like, since I happen to use an iPhone. I don't know if I'm actually supposed to say that or not, but I think whether it's a Android or iPhone or Apple products, I guess, they all have the video talk in whatever type it is. And so some of my grandchildren, I video talk with them, you know, and I can see them and they can see me. And so those are ways that in my past, I would not have thought that's really staying engaged with someone. That's not really getting to know what's going on or having a relationship with them, but being change able. And in the world that we live in today in technology, it satisfies them, and I have gotten used to it. And the truth is, you know, I'm incredibly busy anyway, and so now I don't feel guilty, because we actually did do video chat real quick, or we just saw each other's face, or we did Facebook and instant message, or whatever social media they've decided they like. And so I no longer fight those kinds of things, and actually now use it to my advantage. So that social aspect, that's your family, you know, those who are closest to you, it's your extended family, and it's your friends. And then community. What are you doing out in the community? And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're volunteering, but out in the community. But you know, what is that part of your business, or is there a part of your business that makes you feel like you are making a difference? Maybe that's not something that you care about, but it's one of those things that I would like you to at least consider. You know, and if you decide, I don't really care about that, then fine, that's okay too. And probably most of us spend our time in that last one, which is financial. Is our business helping us financially, helping us make the kind of money that we want, or, you know, for now and for our future, whether it's retirement or investments, or, you know, whatever it might be. So these are things for you to think about. You want to be sure that the business is meeting all of your needs. And I say not just financially, but in all 6 of these areas. So based on everything that we just talked about, if you really do take the time to sit down and assess your preparedness, your readiness as a business owner, if you do really look at how is it impacting your family, and then also look at those 6 areas that I just mentioned. Is it, are you having the type of satisfaction from this business in those 6 areas? Is it really meeting all your needs? Then you can sit down and really think about a development plan. If there are some areas in any one of those that I just described, that I just talked about, that you think, you know what, I could use some work on that, then decide to take one of those areas and establish a goal to work on it so that you can be a better business owner, so that you can more effectively operate and manage your business. Now, building a strong foundation. So what I'm showing right now is like a triangle, or maybe a pyramid, but and at the bottom of it is what we call core ideology. I don't know if any of you have read a book called Good to Great. Right now it's a pretty old book, but it is a phenomenal book, and I highly recommend that you get a copy of this book. It is still, the concepts in this book are still relevant today. Again, it's called Good to Great, okay? And it talks about good companies who have become great companies. Now, since that book was written, many things have changed about some of those companies. But again, the concepts are the same. So at the bottom of this pyramid, you have what is the purpose for existence? What is your company's purpose for existence? Why does it exist? And then also it has core values. Those 2 pieces of information are considered your core ideology. The reason establishing your core ideology is important is because it's your foundation for your business. It's also something that should be in your business plan. I'm sure many of you have either heard about or written a vision statement and a mission statement for your company, but the vision and the mission statement are different from the core values. What are those things that your business stands on? Those, I call them non-negotiables, things that do not change. They're the anchors for your business. When the financial decisions may say one thing, the marketing or the PR may say another thing, these are the things, those core ideology, core values, and purpose for existence are the things that your business is going to stand on. These are the things that, again, when you're writing your business plan and really establishing a strong foundation for your business, you need to think about what are those non-negotiables in your business. And I can tell you that because people have not established core values and the core ideology or those non-negotiables in their business, sometimes they have gotten themselves in troubles from an ethics standpoint, which actually ended up becoming a legal standpoint. And none of us in this webinar want that, okay? But when you don't establish your core values, your core ideology, then it's easy when you get into those kind of iffy situations. Should I do it? Should I not do it? How should I handle this? How shouldn't I handle that? Sometimes you will move the line because you haven't actually drawn the line of when am I crossing my line of doing something that could be unethical or inappropriate for my business, okay? So that's what the core ideology about. On top of that is when you add your vision and your mission statements. Now, vision statement, now I know a lot of people use these interchangeable. Let me tell you how I'm using them. The vision statement is the big picture. It's the, 5 years out, what do I want people to say about my business? I want to be the #1 backhoe company in Southern California, or whatever the vision, that overarching big picture statement is. Typically the vision statement is one sentence or one line. The mission statement is the subset, it's below the vision. The mission statement is, how do I reach the vision? And I do know that people use those interchangeably. So you may have heard, oh, well, that, to me, that's what you just described, that's the vision. The way that we're looking at this is the vision is the overarching, the big picture, it's the word picture of what you want people to see or think about your company. The mission statement is how you get there. The strategic planning is how you reach the mission. It's the objectives, it's the strategies, it's, all of those things. And then you have your operational plans that you implement in order to reach the strategy, goals and objectives, which is the mission, which accomplishes the vision. As you, as the business owner, as the leader, as you go, so goes the business. If your employees, your staff, your independent contractors, whoever it is that is watching you, working with you, or even your family, as they see how you operate, it's telling them a lot, not only about you, but it's telling them a lot about what you believe is okay. Whether they ever say anything to you or not, they are looking at what you do and how you are functioning as a business owner. So actually with that, I want to say thank you. That's the last slide that we wanted to cover as it relates to managing your business.